you guys know my cat died.
Oh my God.
Just to pick things up a notch.
Sorry. Yeah, I heard from Steve, Dan, that Viv died while I was away in London. I was very sad. And I sent you a message and got no reply.
Oh, well, I'm sorry.
It's all right. You're busy.
Yeah, his cat. When did Viv pass away?
I was
2 weeks ago.
Yeah, I was in Canada. I was going from the airport to the hotel, and then Steve Levy called, and he was in tears, and
was he sick? I mean, other than was he like? Did you think that he was near the end?
Steve was fine. You know,
I was like, no, he was crying because my cat died. Are you a sociopath?
Oh, okay. Why is he crying? Did he have personal loss?
Look, water is leaking from their eyes.
What is this salty discharge?
What is cat?
But did you know he was near the end?
Well, she. I beg your pardon. I mean, I had been prepared for it forever psychologically because I've had cats that have gone down before, and Viv was like of indeterminate age, but we knew at least 10, and she was FIV positive, and she'd had a whole slew of last couple of years. She had when they gave me the big bags of fluid with the big large gauge needle, I was like, look, great. I thought like here we go. So I was ready. But she was fine. I mean, I think that she might have had like kind of a kitty Alzheimer's kind of thing going on because towards the end she really stopped caring about the dogs as much, and I always felt really bad that the dogs were kind of terrorizing her. And like towards the end, she was sort of like she didn't really care where she was, but she had like a weird wiggle to her head that was happening, and I kept wondering. It's like she was on thyroid medication. I was like, I wonder if that's like the thyroid medication is like jacking her up a little too much. We would take her in routinely, and she just had a lot of shit going on. So after I left for Canada 2 weeks ago, apparently the cat sitter came over and she was like meowing in pain and was like walking funny. So she took her to the vet, and welcome to the best podcast ever. You're never more than a Trump observation away from a dead cat story. But she took her to the vet, and she had pancreatitis. And it was in such bad shape that they started prepping her for an emergency thing, like they were gonna send her to a facility or something like that. While they were prepping her for surgery, she had a stroke.
Yeah.
Spencer was there.
Jesus Christ.
Oh, you were there?
I got there. Yeah.
She had a stroke, and so she was essentially like, I had to authorize first I had to verify. That's what Levy was describing to me the thing, and I was like, so is the idea that I'm supposed to
give permission?
Great. I couldn't. I was I didn't want to sound like a weird monster. That was my idea.
Yeah,
first.
You're put it down. No, we're not there.
But I couldn't, and I had to keep verifying it. But yeah, it seemed like she was essentially they were keeping her alive, and she was at the door of eternity, and I had to give the okay to end it, right?
Yeah, she probably would have made it anyway, but yeah.
She probably
wouldn't have made it.
That would have been horrible.
Yeah.
I misheard that too.
I did.
She probably was going to make it, but good call.
Spencer goes, she probably would have made it, but like you said, $750 cap. He just reveals some policy I had about They said with the insulin it would have been $758.
Oh yeah.
Also, you're in Canada, so with the exchange, who knows?
But I felt really guilty about it. This was interesting to me. I was telling my therapist about it, and I was expressing all this kind of self-loathing about it, which I would tonight, except I think she stepped in, and because I was like, oh man, I just hit the deadbeat cat owners jackpot, because I always felt really guilty about how she and I were buddies and partners, and I just kind of the dogs came into the picture, and I got super busy, and her last years were not the same as the Benjamin Button 25-year-old years with the mattress on the floor and she and I just like fucking, painting the room and her coming up with ideas for my screenplays and me letting her hump my arm because she wasn't spayed yet, we had peaks with that relationship, and she traveled with me through several homes and intimate others, all of whom adored her, and everyone that met her loved her, and I just felt agonizingly guilty in general, because it was like, oh, she was neglected, like in her she just became like it was a big house, and she just kind of started hanging out. She's like, I don't like these dogs, and it was like, I'm busy. And I was expressing all that to my therapist, and she said, yeah, sounds like you have a lot of issues about neglect, and like your cat, is going to bring a lot of that stuff up, but first and foremost, while she's still your cat that just died, why don't you make sure that you mourn her? Because what you're doing right now is actually taking away from that process, which was kind of profound to me. I was like, making her death about me and making it sad, which is like the opposite of a cannibal going like, this is delicious, Dan Harmon. I think that
you didn't eat the cat.
No.
Right?
But Spencer did. I do have a text from Spencer that says, Spencer, in the midst of all this stuff, Spencer, she might die. If she does, what do you want to do with the body? Should I put it in the freezer?
Were you sad, Spencer?
Oh, yeah. I was all busted up.
Are you being sarcastic?
Oh, no, not at all.
Hardest man to read.
No, it was hard. It was really tough. It was sucked. Viv was great.
Dan, your assistant Steve, who's more than just, let's not diminish him. He's an awesome dude all the way around. But he's such a good assistant. He let me know about that. Like he actually put out that bat signal and let your friends know about Viv. It's pretty amazing.
Yeah, the amount of shit that guy does like that is pretty crazy.
And he was so broken up about it. And I was like, "How's Dan doing?" He's like, "Well, he's in Canada right now." Like he didn't. Like, I don't know how much he knew about what your grief...
Cut to, crisscross, I'll make it, jump! I was just like, at a... I don't know, it was just some Canadian party.
Is crisscross Canadian?
I don't know. Just the first song in my head. That seemed like the opposite of what you should be listening to after your cat dies.